I have a rather unhealthy obsession with camera bags. I'm sure most of you do too. I mean, I have different camera bags for every occasion. They all have different purposes. They all are used for different things. But what this means is that I'm always constantly switching gear out from one bag to another. I go on a trip, it's all in my big backpack, and then I want to go out for the evening and I'm switching things over to a smaller bag. This can create some problems where I might forget to put something from one bag to another. These essential accessories that I recommend every travel photographer, even photographers in general, have in their bags. And I wanted to do this video because I think it's important to at least consider the minimum things that you want to take with you when you're going on a photo outing. And how are you going to manage moving things from one bag to another if you're a camera bag junkie like me and you have dozens of camera bags. So we're going to go over the minimum essentials for your camera bag up to kind of some of the more optional accessories. And I just want to kind of point out the modular system that I use, which makes moving things from one bag to another fairly easy and without forgetting anything. So the first essential that I would recommend everyone have with them, no matter where you are or what bag you're using, is a camera cleaning kit. Yeah, you can use your t-shirt to wipe any kind of dust or smudges off of your lens. It may not always work, but the last thing that at least I want to do is, if I stop down to like f/16 and I have dust on my lens, I do not want to spend an hour removing dust spots when I get home. That just drives me insane. So if you make sure that your lens is clean from the beginning, you don't have to spend all of that time on the back end trying to fix any kind of dust spots or smudges that cause any kind of flaring or anything like that. So for this little cleaning kit, I keep it all together. This is a Think Tank little stuff it pouch. It's perfect, it's small, it fits in all of my bags, and it has all of my cleaning accessories. If I'm just going out with just my camera, the minimum that I would have with me is a lens cleaning pen. This is the lens pen, and I'm going to link to all this stuff in the description. This little pen has a brush on one side and has a lens cleaner on the other. It's a little bit bigger than a tube of chapstick, so it just fits in my pocket. And that, at a minimum, allows me to keep my lens somewhat clean so I don't have to fix the photos later on. But it just kind of sits here in the front pocket of this little pouch, and I can take it out and put it back whenever I need it. Now, if I do end up taking a bag, I can just move this little pouch from one bag to the other, and it has everything else that I need to clean my camera in it, which would include some of these lens cleaning wipes, which I pretty much have everywhere. They're in every pocket of every camera bag that I own. Single-use wipes, just if you need to really clean off some smudges or anything. Has a little pocket blower in there too. If I have any kind of dust in the sensor or the rear element of the lens, this will help me get rid of some of that dust. Also have a microfiber cloth and a bottle of lens cleaning solution for those really difficult to clean smudges, if that ever happened. Now, all of this, like I said, just fits in this little pouch and I can move it from one bag to another. This is the minimum of the essential accessories that I always have with me. Now, some additional essentials I have in a different pouch. These things aren't always critical to have with me all the time, but they are things that I would recommend you have with you if your bag is large enough and you can throw them in there, or just take things out of this little pouch as you need them for wherever you're going. This I call my Save a Photo kit. It's kind of like if you're a diver, you may have heard of a Save a Dive kit. This is the Save a Photo kit. Again, it's in this little pouch so that I can keep everything together and nothing gets lost in my camera bags, and I can just take the whole thing out from one bag, move it into another. This too is a Think Tank cable management pouch. You can put whatever you want in there, but some things that you should have with you is an extra battery. especially with mirrorless batteries today. They don't quite last as long as DSLR batteries. So having a freshly charged battery is nice to have. Again, if you don't want to take this entire pouch, just take the battery out of it and put it in your other camera bag. If that's the only thing out of this pouch that you think you might need. The other thing I have in here is a little memory card wallet, just to make sure that if my memory cards are running full towards the full end, I do have some extra storage available, so I'm not running out of room to create more photos. Other things I have in here, you can put whatever you want in here, and that's the nice thing about these pouches is, whatever's specific to you, keep them all in one place. I do have a white balance card. If you're traveling, you may come across some mixed lighting situations that make getting an auto white balance very difficult. If you have a white balance card like this, you can use your camera's auto white balance lock feature, which cameras like Fujifilm and Nikon have, and I'll link to a demonstration that I did of using that here. But this will help me ensure that I get accurate colors if I'm photographing art or any kind of paintings or something where color accuracy is important. So that's in there too. Have a little roll of gaffer's tape, very strong tape that doesn't leave a residue. You never know when you're going to need tape for something. Some little bungee cords. These actually come with the cable management pouch, but these are nice to have in case you ever need to tie some cables together or strap something to something else. Oh, and hey, look at that. Here's more lens wipes, like I said earlier. Keeping them all in one place so they don't get lost when I'm moving my camera bag around. Another little travel photography accessory that you pretty much always have with you already is a smartphone with photography apps on it. Now, there's a ton of photography apps out there. Some of the ones that I love to use and why: Gaia GPS. I use this to record GPS tracks and then geotag my photos in either Lightroom or Photo Mechanic later so I know where they were created. The photographer's ephemeris. This helps you calculate lighting and shadows and has things like sunrise and sunset times. There's another app that I have when I'm doing travel or portrait photography called Easy Release. If I'm not carrying paper, model, or property releases with me, this app has a standard model release form, and whoever you're photographing can sign it with their finger, and it is legally binding. I did a whole entire article about some of the essential photography apps that you can read that'll be linked here to just kind of figure out what you want to have on your smartphone that are considered essential accessories. So those were kind of the essentials, the things that I always have with me in my camera bag and that you should consider always having also. Now, what about some of the nice to haves? These are more situation dependent. They're things that you want to have in your photography kit, but you might not always take them. This small little portable tripod is nice to have. It's so small that it can even fit in like the retrospective, the Think Tank shoulder bags. This one is carbon fiber. It's really small, it's really light. It's not going to be a tripod that you're going to use for ultra long exposure photography with a heavy camera or a heavy lens in windy conditions. However, if you do just need to stabilize your tripod or hop in front of the camera for any reason, this thing, it will work great. So that's something that I just always pack in my suitcase. And then if I'm going out to go travel around and I think I'll need a tripod, I can just throw this on the bag, strap it to the bag, and it's nice and small and light and doesn't take up a lot of room. And then if you're going to be traveling for a long time, but without a laptop, it might be nice to be able to start editing some of your photos while you're traveling. So a little tablet, external storage, a smartphone, a memory card reader to transfer your photos from the SD card to your tablet or smartphone. Those are some things that you may want to consider so that you can at least get a head start on editing your photos while you're traveling. The next little thing I love to have if I think I'm going to want to keep track of what I'm photographing is a Write in the Rain notepad with a pen. These little notepads are amazing. This one I think I've had for, oh gosh, 2012. So I've had this notepad for over 12 years. It's still in great shape. Surprised I haven't filled it up yet. I have tons of these things, but they're very durable. They will, like the name says, write in the rain. The pages don't really rip. So if you're in austere conditions, you travel hard like I do, these little notepads are great for taking notes, interviewing people, making sure that you have all the little interesting facts about the photos that you're creating so you don't forget those things. The next little thing that's nice to have, if you don't mind the weight of it, is a portable battery charger. This is an Anker Power Core, and this one can charge a standard mirrorless camera battery, I think 6 or 7 times. So it has this little pouch, and I always make sure that I have the appropriate USB cables in the pouch. You want to make sure that if you do get a portable charger like this, that it can supply enough current to charge your battery. Some of the mirrorless cameras, like the Nikon, the EL, I think it's the 15C batteries, require a little extra wattage to charge the battery in the camera. So you do want to make sure that these portable chargers are capable of that. But the nice thing about traveling with one of these is that you don't have to wait until you're near a wall outlet to charge your camera battery. You can have this in your bag, plugged into your camera while you're traveling, while you're on the bus or the plane or whatever, and get that battery topped off so that you don't run out of juice when you're in the middle of some kind of great photo shoot. And then some kind of more situation-dependent accessories. First thing are filters. Like polarizing filters and neutral density filters, you can either throw them in a little tiny pouch like this. This is called the Mindshift Filter Nest Shimoda designs, which makes my camera backpack. They also make a great little filter case that you can throw in step up or step down rings or polarizing filters. And again, that's just all going to depend on if you need a polarizing filter or a neutral density filter for the kind of photography that you're doing. Throw that in your camera bag and make sure that you have some kind of pouch or security system so that you can transfer and protect those filters. If you're going to be photographing at night, maybe you're doing long exposure photography or you're doing night cityscapes or something, having a headlamp with a red filter is also really nice to have with you. This one, it's a cheap Petzl headlamp, but it has the filter that just goes over the lights for the headlamp. And this will help you preserve your night vision so that you're not blinded and you can kind of still see what you're doing when you're photographing at night. The next little situation-dependent, nice to have accessory that I almost always carry with me when doing travel photography is an external flash. Not because I'm doing a lot of portraits, but just because I don't exactly know what the lighting is going to be in some of these places that I'm photographing. And so having a little flash, and this is in a Shimoda drop pocket. This little pocket fits on the belt of my Shimoda camera bag, but I can easily just take it off and throw it in a shoulder bag if I want to take this with me. But I have a little Godox TT680 flash unit that I can just mount on the camera for bounce flash, to bounce the flash off of a wall or a ceiling to create another light source. If I want to get this flash off of the camera, then I also have in this little pouch a remote trigger. This is the Godox X Pro trigger. And then if I do get that flash off the camera, I need a way to mount it. So I just have a cheap little plastic stand in here. These are kind of the minimums. Like I said, I'm not doing like huge portrait photography setups with this, but if I do need extra light, it is nice to have something like this in my camera bag, and you can see that it doesn't take up much room at all. So those are some of the things that I always carry with me when I'm out doing travel photography. Like I said, I don't always have all of them with me, but I do at least have them in some kind of modular system where I can just, grab and go, take whatever I need, throw it in my bag, and that way I make sure that I always have the minimum camera bag essentials. If there's any other camera bag essentials that you can think of specifically for travel photography, please leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.